You're listening to the Hustled Up Podcast. I'm Laura Natoli.
And I'm Holly Silva, and we are best friends since birth turned multi-passionate entrepreneurs and co-owners of Chores and More, a successful service-based business where everybody is treated like a best friend.
Welcome to our show where tactical business education meets fun and real conversations about this wild journey called life.
Get ready to be inspired. Grab your headphones, turn up the volume, and let's hustle up.
Hello, friends. Welcome back to another episode of Hustled Up. We are your gracious hosts. My name is Holly.
And my name is Laura.
And so sorry we were not here last week. Laura caught that horrible cold that everybody seems to be getting in the entire country. You know the one I'm talking about? Yeah. So she was down and out, and I just don't even have an excuse for myself. But we are back, and that's what matters, right? So we got a really great episode topic for you guys today, and we are so excited to talk about it. But before we dive in, y'all already know what I'm about to say. Please, pretty please pause this episode and go give us a 5-star rating and a review wherever you are listening. We would sincerely appreciate if you could visit us on Apple Podcasts, leave that little review, that little love letter. We're on Spotify. 5 stars is great over there. And if you're on YouTube, if you could give us the old thumbs up on this video and subscribe to the channel so that you can be notified whenever we upload a new episode, we would love you so much. But anyway, let's jump into today's episode. So first, I gotta give you a little backstory. One of our lovely listeners actually emailed us last week, and it was so great. Her name is Alexis, and she is the owner of Lone Wolf Cleaning. And she reached out to us and was like, love your podcast. First of all, thank you for gassing me up. Anymore, I will positively just float away into the sunset. But thank you very much. And she actually gave us an entire list, I'm not kidding, of episode ideas and things that she wants us to elaborate on and talk about. So we have plenty of great episode suggestions, and we are definitely going to run with them. And one of those was about in the cleaning industry. And I feel like maybe this is the thing with some other of those blue collar industries. Yeah. About competing with people who aren't operating their business legally and who are able to charge pennies, right? Because a lot of us deal with people who are charging $50 for a cleaning or $100 for a deep cleaning because they can afford that, because they don't have overhead. They're not an actual business, right? They just go clean, they keep the money, and that's what they do. And we have a lot of thoughts on that. Okay. So we're going to jump to the commercial super quick. But if you want to know our thoughts on competing with these people who are just charging pennies that you just know you can't compete with, you're going to want to keep listening.
Are you tired of spending your entire weekend cleaning when you could be going out to brunch with your girls?
First of all, I love brunch. And second of all, yes, there are so many things I could be doing instead of cleaning my house on the weekend.
Oh yeah, like playing video games.
Or watching a movie with the kids.
Going on a date with your significant other.
Taking your dog to the dog park.
Going to the movies.
Solving world hunger.
Yes! Exactly. So this is why it is such a good idea to call up Chores and More for your deep and recurring cleaning needs.
And do you want to know something really cool?
What?
If anybody mentions Hustled Up when they call to book, they can receive up to $100 off their deep cleaning.
Up to $100 off. What are you doing still sitting there? Pick up the phone now, mention our podcast, and never have to spend your weekends cleaning again.
Simply go to choresandmorellc.com. You can fill out our request quote form there, or give us a call, send us a text, 631-397-0177. It is time to get back to doing the things you love. Let us take care of the cleaning. Okay, so again, we are going to talk today about competing with these people, or maybe they're teams of two who are just charging pennies, and you're growing increasingly frustrated in this oversaturated market because all these people are deciding all of a sudden that they are house cleaners. My first thing that I'm going to tell you when it comes to competing with these people is that you don't.
Period.
That's the advice. You don't. All right, we're going to hop off now. You all have a good day. No, okay. So what do I mean by that? Let's elaborate. Let's talk about this for a minute. There are going to be people out there who just want the cheapest price. That's all they want. That's all they want. They just want the cheapest price. They don't care about anything else. They don't care about you. They don't care about your business. They don't even care about half the time what you're even doing in the house. They just want the cheapest price. And this is a classic case of you get what you pay for, right? And these people are getting probably crap cleanings. They're getting cleanings from people who are not operating their business legally and ethically, which means that their home is not protected in the event that something goes wrong. If something breaks in the house, that person is not going to offer to replace it. In fact, they're probably going to run. I've actually heard stories of that. I also heard a story where somebody who was not operating legally and ethically, I don't know if you remember this story, Laura, someone was telling us this, that we had cleaned for back when we first started our business, but we were still legal and ethical. Her old cleaner like broke her leg by falling down the stairs or something. And she tried to sue the homeowner because there was no work comp involved. And it was a whole thing. It was like a whole messy situation. So they don't have work comp. So their employees are not, well, they don't even have employees, but there's no protection there. And there's no liability insurance. So if something breaks, guess what? You're out of luck. You are out of luck. Well, the client is out of luck, out of luck. So there are a lot of reasons, not to go with somebody like this. But some people, like I said, are only going to want to go for that. They just want the cheapest. Like I said, they don't care. But guess what? Those are not the clients for you, boo-boo. Those are not the clients for you. And Laura knows this is why I was so like, let's do this one. Let's do it today. Because here's the thing. Y'all already know I am a branding nerd. Okay. I am all about my personal brand. I am all about the brand of our business. That is your brand is going to link you up with your ideal clients, not your low price. And if you want your brand to be cheap and affordable, good luck with that. I say, don't do that. Don't do that. But people, when they say that when people buy from a business, they're actually not buying from the business. They're buying because of the story behind the business. People buy with emotion. Some people don't. They just buy because it's cheap. But again, most people buy with emotion, or maybe sometimes the emotion is driven by the desire to not spend money, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But those are not the people that you want to be cleaning for. So if those people would rather hire that person who just started cleaning houses yesterday and just cleans your entire life with bleach and Lysol and doesn't care about eco-friendly products and doesn't have insurance and is probably late, and then if they get sick, guess what? You're crap out of luck anyway. Then that's on them, and they don't even understand the value. This is kind of like I compare cleaning services to tattoos all the time.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
You can go get a tattoo for like, Friday the 13th tattoos, or you can go see, an apprentice. And no hate to apprentices, but some people are charging low because they can't get clients at a higher price, and there's a reason for it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. The first time I saw that phrase, though, you get what you pay for, the very first time I ever saw that phrase, it was hanging on a sign in a tattoo shop.
That's so funny. But it's true. So I have a few Friday the 13th tattoos. I really do. But that was when I was young and very broke. But now, like, I will not go just to the cheapest person. When I am shopping for a tattoo artist, which, by the way, I am looking for one. So if you're local and you know a tattoo artist, send them my way. But I want somebody who's easy to book with. I want somebody who's going to make me feel comfortable. I want someone who is passionate about tattooing. I do not want to go to a tattoo artist and have them be huffing and puffing because they don't feel like tattooing me. And I want somebody who is like well-rounded in different types of tattoo art. Like, these are important things for me. Price, of course, I don't want to pay like $300 an hour. And I will factor in price, of course, but it's not like the top priority. And if, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's not really a factor. Like, of course, I'll think about it because I have a budget. Or maybe I'll just get smaller tattoos if, the budget is smaller or something like that, or get a little bit at a time. You can always break up your sessions. But it's not a factor because it's important for me. Like, I have other things that I value more than the price. And that's the kind of client you want. You want a client who's going to value the fact that you are a legally and ethically running company, and especially Alexis, for you specifically, because while you are a solo cleaner, you are running a legally a legal and ethical company, a legitimate company. And so you want somebody to value that. You want somebody to value your story. What is your story, Alexis? What drives you? What made you want to start cleaning? Why do you love it so much? You know, Laura and I, like, the cleaning itself is not really what drives us. It's the emotional after, when a client finally feels a sense of relief after they've come home from a really stressful day of work and they feel like they can breathe. It's helping the person who is depressed, because I am someone who deals with mental health issues. So that's important to me. That's what drives me. It's making someone feel comfortable, like they can trust us, because, you know, we are really, me and Laura, like, our brand is best friendship, right? So that is something that drives us, being able to make somebody feel like they have a new friend in their life. These are the things that drive us, and our clients know it. It's all over our website. We are so annoyingly, like, into the best friend thing.
I think we could take it even a step further.
I think we
personally.
can too, actually. I personally think we can too.
Yeah.
But the people love it. We've had people. We have a client who is still on our roster today, who literally sent us a text message at like 10 o'clock at night. She was like, "I saw your dancing videos. I love you. I want to hire you." Like, literally, I'm not kidding.
Yeah, she was like, "I'm doom scrolling at night, and I came across your videos, and I said, these are my people.
These
We
are
hear
my
that
people.
all the time. These are my people.
These are my people.
Yeah. I think that you have to these are great points, but I think we have to back it up even further. And I think a really important lesson to learn right away in business is that not every client is for you. Not all money is good money. Because I feel like once you wrap your head around that, it's a lot easier to not want to go after every single client. Because when you're small and you're starting out, you're thinking, I want to grow, I want to make more money, I want to serve as many people as possible. So as soon as you get somebody on the other line saying, oh, well, that's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous price. I just got quoted $100 by so-and-so down the block. And your gut instinct says, oh no, that's a rejection. Oh my goodness, should I lower my price? I want that client. But no. You don't want that client, because there's another client that's going to call you next that values different things than that client that was price shopping. So that's the first step. You have to learn right away that not every client is going to be your client, and you have to be okay with that. You know, we're so focused in the beginning that I want it bigger and bigger and more and more and more. But at what cost? Having 50 clients that are underpaying is less valuable, in my opinion, than having 20 that are paying what you're worth.
That's not even
Period.
opinion. That's not even an opinion. That's a fact.
Yeah. Yeah. But in the beginning, it's hard to wrap your brain around that. You know what I mean? Like when you're first starting out, and I know this too, because it's especially when you're first starting out and it's just you, which I believe is the case with Alexis. It's just her. And I'm sure a lot of you that are listening are in the same position or have been in the same position. When it's just you and you hear no, that hurts. Because they're rejecting you. They're rejecting you. Oh, do I have to change? But no, honey, you do not have to change. The client doesn't have to change either. If they value the price above anything, that's fine. They're going to pay for that tenfold down the road, and that's on them. But the client that's going to value what you have to offer, that's the client that's going to be with you for 20 years, that, you know, values that trust. I mean, we've straight up had people ask us, can we see proof of insurance? And I love that question. I'm like, yes, baby, you can. Absolutely. Whatever you want. Because I know what that client values, and I'm not afraid to charge what we're worth, because I know that we are worth it, and that client will know it as well. We're passionate about this. If you can't tell, like, we are so passionate about this.
I still fall into the trap of like quantity over quality. I still am like this sometimes. I struggle with this. I actually struggle with this in multiple areas of my life. And it's a hard lesson to learn for sure. Because I just, especially as we are growing at the rate that we are, we focus a lot of our attention, I feel, to this day, Laura, on revenue, like just the revenue.
Yep.
It like, and the client count, right? Which it's, of course, you want to set revenue goals, and you want to set goals for how many recurring clients you have on your schedule. But I'd say probably 10 of those clients that we have on our roster right now are pretty significantly underpaying.
Yeah.
And like our revenue is not equivalent to profit. And so when you lower your price for people who don't want to pay what you are worth, you are actually cutting into, especially like I said, as a legal and ethical company who has overhead, who pays for insurance, who pays for all of these other things, you are cutting into your own profit. And then what are you doing it all for? And
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Laura and I were driven by being leaders to our staff and being there for our clients, but we got to make a paycheck too. And
Yeah.
so do you. You need to make a paycheck. You can't, you can't let people tell you what your price is. And, I hate to say it, but cleaning companies should be charging at minimum, whether you have a staff or not, $55 an hour. If you are operating legally and ethically. And of course, you need to make sure as a business owner in your industry or as the cleaner in your industry, like if you're doing the cleanings, that this is getting a little bit of a tangent, but just to help you problem solve your issue a little bit, you got to get your production rates up. You got to make sure you are cleaning as fast as you can while not cutting into quality. You have to make sure you know what is included in your service. Like we will not clean baseboards on a recurring cleaning. We'll dust them. We will not wet wipe them. That's an upgrade. We are no longer including changing of sheets in our recurring cleanings. That's an upcharge. You need to know what you are including in every single cleaning. And then, have your options for, like upgrades or whatever. But that's important too, because that's going to also help you understand your speed and what you can charge. Like, what is the lowest you can charge because of the time you can get in and out of the house, if that makes sense. Because of course you don't want to feel like you're ripping people off, or this is another Debbieism. We always say Debbieisms, right? But you can't be expensive and slow. You can't.
No, people won't pay for slow.
No, they certainly will not. So I think it's important to remember that. So those are like a few little troubleshooting things that you can work on while you are getting firm with your pricing and getting firm with what's included in your cleanings.
Yeah.
And
I
it's
think
going to
that's
help
a great
you.
point. Also, you kind of similar to what you're saying, you need to make sure that whatever you are offering is valuable, because that's what you're going to use in your branding to let people know why you charge what you charge. Holly and I have a whole branding, what do we call it? Our bragging rights video. Excuse me, I'm still a little bit under the weather. We have a bragging rights video on our TikTok, on our Instagram, where we say all of our bragging rights. And we do have things in there that, we're operating ethically above board. We have a whole bunch of things. Definitely go check out our social media and check it out if you are, wondering what your bragging rights are, because maybe some of ours overlap. But I think the important thing is to really hone in, sit down, think about what does set you apart from those solo cleaners that are operating, under the table, outside of just operations. What sets you apart? What makes your service so valuable? And again, like Holly said, don't make it about price. Unless you are going to be the absolute cheapest in town, which I guarantee if you're operating legally or not, don't make that your selling point. There are so many other things that you can make your selling point that price shouldn't even be factored in. So really sit down, figure out why is your service so valuable, and make sure that you are sending email blasts to your clients, letting them know why it is that you're so valuable. Social media, that's another huge one. If you are not showing up as a business on social media with your bragging rights, with what sets you apart, you're doing something wrong. And I also think, along the same vein, it's really important to also just deep down feel that you're valuable. Because if I'm in a sales call and I don't feel like I'm worth what I'm charging, the second I get pushback, I'm going to crumble, I'm going to cry, and I'm going to give in and haggle with them. And you best believe we did in the beginning. We did. In the beginning, I let people tell me what we were worth and what we should charge, and we haggled a ton. Now, I don't budge even if it's $5 most of the time, because I know that I priced this for a specific reason, with our overhead in mind, with how well we pay our employees in mind, and I do not budge. So when somebody comes back with me with I'm ridiculous, I'm overpriced, that's expensive, I very calmly explain why we charge what we do and say, I completely understand if we're not a good fit for you at this time, period. If you don't believe that deep down, you're going to get emotional.
And like Laura said, she will tell them why don't be afraid to, it's not defending yourself. It's just saying like, well, this is why, we want to pay our staff good wages so that we can have low employee turnover, and happy employees equal happy clients. Well, we pay for workers' comp and general liability insurance. We have a good amount of overhead. So, the cost of running a business is going up or whatever. Like, this is why our rate, like, don't be afraid to calmly and professionally tell people why your rates are what they are. And this is the same for when you're doing price increases, but that'll be a totally other episode. But you do have to believe it in yourself. Like, this is important. Like, you cannot, fake it till you make it, for sure. But you really have to understand that this is a hard job. Cleaning is hard. It is not prancing around with a little duster. We've heard that so many times. I'm so sick of it. Cut it out, people. That is not what we do. Look right in the camera with that one.
We've heard this a few times. You can tell. Really.
Or the whole cleaning's not rocket science.
Oh,
it actually kind of is.
That. Don't say that. No, there is literal science involved, people. Okay?
It's science and art. I say that all the time.
Oh, yeah. I like to say your technicians that will be performing your cleaning, because it is a performance. It's an
performance.
Yes, performance.
It is. And it takes training. Some people just like go out and just start cleaning, and they will ruin your marble because they don't understand that you can't use any acidic or basic products. It has to be pH neutral. Fun fact. Didn't know if y'all knew that. You can't use ammonia on granite or natural stone. Fun fact. And Windex has ammonia in it. So people who are Windexing your countertops are going to ruin them. So, like, you can hire the cheapest person down. All right, I'm getting petty now, but you can hire the cheapest person down
coming out.
You can hire the cheapest person down the block, but then you're going to have to pay like $10,000 to replace your nice marble counters when they ruin them.
So we've heard the stories. We've heard the stories. So many people have reached out, and like the stories that I hear, I'm like, I can't believe people are giving cleaning companies a bad name with some of these stories.
You know what's funny though? We'll hear these horror stories and then people will still say we're too expensive. And again, those are the people who you don't belong on our roster. I'm sorry. I wish you all the best. I really do. I hope you find somebody that's a good fit and fits, and it's always good to offer budget-friendly options. We do this all the time. We have 3 different initial cleaning packages just to suit like a multitude of budgets. Plus, we are thinking about offering partial house cleanings. We offer priority cleanings, which are like limited hours. And, the cleaner cleans in the order of the homeowner's priorities in the allotted time. So they're setting that budget. So we do that too. We have plenty of options, and that's always good too, to be able to offer, because you want to work with people who really deserve a cleaning. They want it, they value it, but it's just genuinely they don't have the money for it. Mm-hmm. So you do want to offer options, but in a way that it isn't going to cut into your profit and your operating expenses and all of that.
Yeah, that's a great point. I'm so glad that you brought that up, because don't get it twisted. We're not here saying if you're not rich, you cannot hire chores and more. That's not what it is at all. Nothing like that. It's more so just, and if you're a solo cleaner too, which I think this could be a whole nother topic, but I would like to keep in mind, you always need to be planning ahead. You always need to be thinking ahead. If it is just you right now doing all of the solo cleaning, eventually you're most likely going to want to hire some help, whether it's a helper, whether it's a full staff of employees, or just somebody to replace you in the field. You need to start thinking about the fact that you're going to have payroll one day, because if you decide that not to charge what you're worth, it only affects you. But if you undercut and underbid and underprice, and then when you go to hire employees, you're not going to have enough money to pay them, or at least not enough money to pay them what you're worth. So whether or not you plan to grow huge or stay the size you are, you always need to be thinking ahead, what is my next step? And let me make decisions and plan accordingly to those next steps. A big lesson that Holly and I have been really learning, and really just like reminding me, like we constantly are like, is that scalable? Is that going to work when we're a $2 million business? Like that's kind of how we've been thinking. And I encourage you to do the same, even if it is just you. Yeah. Start thinking bigger.
Yeah, because you might decide like, hey, I don't want to do this alone anymore.
Mhm.
I'm going to hire somebody else. And you don't want to have to do what we did where we had to raise rate. We were like almost 50% under market, like the market rate.
And we didn't know.
And so we had to raise our rates by like a ton. For some of our poor clients were like, what the hell? We lost a bunch in the process. And that was our fault. You know, we always let people in the beginning. Oh my gosh, the amount of times we let people tell us what we were charging.
Mm-hmm.
I remember we quoted somebody 140, I think, or 150, and they talked us down to 100. And now they would be paying at least 165, probably more. No, it would be more. It would be like 170 something, I think, for that person that I'm thinking of. Like, and guess what? They're not on our roster anymore because we had to hit them with the old increase, and they just didn't value it enough, and they dropped.
Yeah, and that's okay. That's okay.
Fine. And we replaced that client. I mean, we kept growing and growing. Our business has not shrunk. You know, we replaced all of those. We call them legacy clients who couldn't move with our cheese, so to speak. And, you know, we did replace them with people who are paying the prices that we are currently charging. And those people value us. They love our staff. They love the training that we put into our staff. They love that we hire only people who are a good, like, core value fit. We don't just hire anybody with legs anymore. You know, we used to do that. And honestly, we probably would have made exceptions for people without legs as long as they had arms and a heartbeat.
Yeah.
And so,
are you breathing? You have a pulse? You're in.
You have a pulse? Good. Yeah, you're in. No, like, we are selective on who we hire. We have the best staff now. We're fully bonded. We're fully insured. We are, and people love it.
Yeah. And it ain't cheap. It's not cheap to run a business ethically, but it's also just not cheap to run a business if you're setting yourself to the standards that we are currently setting ourselves at, because it's expensive to hire. And we interview a ton of people before we find one that is a core value fit, true and true. So that's a lot of money right there. We have purchased so many trainings. We purchased courses for us to take. We purchased many courses for our technicians to take, whether it be leadership courses or even just we're about to purchase a course specifically on cleaning, deep cleaning specifically.
Hold on, we have to give a shout out to this.
Oh, yes, because the people might want to know. Like, yes.
Oh my God.
Do it.
Quick little side note. Beth Eldridge, she is one of the CBF coaches. She is amazing. I'm pretty sure this course is available to all cleaning company owners. Yeah. I don't think it's specific to CBF.
No, and it's on pre-sale until October 6th. So what Holly's about to tell you, jump on it.
I don't remember the price, but it is, I think, discounted because of the pre-sale. Mm-hmm. If you pre-order it, she just dropped a Deep Clean Specialist Train the Cleaner course with literal videos on how to do deep cleanings quickly, efficiently, and excellently. I don't know if that's a word, but it is today. So it's like very detailed videos, and it is by the literal inventor of the Deep Clean Specialist program, Beth Eldridge. So if you want help on your deep cleanings and better understanding of how to do them, what products to use, what to include in them, and all that good stuff, you're definitely going to want to hit up Beth Eldridge or slide into our DMs, and we will definitely link you. So definitely jump on that. Yeah. Maybe I could put a link in the...
I was just going to say that. There's a link to the course. So I would put that right in the description group so that anybody can just go right on that. And if you do have, I know we're talking a lot to solo cleaners this episode, but if you do have staff, highly, highly recommend the Deep Clean Specialist program as well. And I know we've talked about that in other episodes, but if you have staff members, you are going to want to put them through the Deep Clean Specialist course. So just, again, it's not cheap to have have a business with certain, I don't know what to call it, expectations. Like, we want everything up here. We want our staff up here. We want, our cleaning abilities up here. It costs a lot of money. It's an investment, but we are willing to put that money into our business to bring it back tenfold. So just keep that in mind.
Over dollars. No, no more.
No more. Go see last episode if you want to hear more about that.
Literally. Just spoke about that. Comes at a perfect time.
Yep.
Comes at a perfect time.
Absolutely. Did you have anything else to add to this, Hall? I feel like we covered a lot this episode.
No, I think that this is like, just to give a recap, like, don't stress about these people who are popping up all over your neighborhood offering cleanings for like $99. Don't worry about them.
Mm-mm.
Don't worry about them. The people who are flocking to them are people who don't really value you for all that you do, for all the hard work you do, for your story, for your brand. Focus on your brand. Think about your story. Put it out there. Why do you do what you do? Why are you passionate about what you do? Don't worry about just being the best in terms of quality. Like, literally, like, focus on your actual story, your brand, who you are. You are your brand. So focus on that. Think about, if it's an option, think about offering discounted services in terms of partial cleanings or just more budget friendly options, but that doesn't mean you have to do everything and just lower your price. There are ways around that. And just mindset, like, just remember, like, you are valuable and worthy. I feel like, especially in this industry, it is so hard to think like, I am valuable and worthy and like amazing at what I do and amazing in this world, and I have a place here. And for a long time I was afraid to tell people that I was a house cleaner. I used to make up some crazy ass like job title, like fake. I don't even
administrative
remember.
assistant to the feather duster club. She would like do some crazy stuff.
Because I started my career in this industry with another cleaning service, not in our service area, but I was her assistant. But in retrospect, I cleaned 4 to 5 days a week and just like helped her with some phone calls and confirmations. Like, it really wasn't much. And when people used to ask me what I did, I would say that I was the administrative assistant to a boutique startup.
It's not a complete lie.
And then they would say, "Oh, doing what?" And I would say, "In the janitorial sector."
Oh my God. You say, I'm a domestic engineer. I'm a domestic engineer. I've heard that one before. Somebody one time called and was like, I'm looking for a domestic engineer. And I was like, I don't know if you called the right place. What's a domestic engineer?
Kind of love it.
No, I love it too. I love it too.
But there is nothing wrong with being a house cleaner. You are making such a difference in people's lives. Understand that and see that and feel that. And if you're a business owner and you're not doing the cleanings, make sure your employees know that. Make sure your employees know that.
Yes, I didn't know that when I was working for the other service. I didn't know that. I never got told what I'm doing is special, what I'm doing matters, that I'm changing people's lives. I do think that my boss did appreciate me, but she never really honed in on how important what we were doing was. So I didn't feel important. I remember, and I could share it in a moment of vulnerability, but we have memes of me and Holly in our work uniforms making fun of what we do. I'm thinking of one specifically. We posted a meme of us in our cleaning uniforms years and years ago with some caption about what happened to my college education. And it was because people were putting us down. We were listening to people in our ears telling us that, all these things that are just simply not true about this industry. And I remember when we opened this business, and I'm going on a tangent, but when we opened this business, I remember Holly and I said one of the big things we want to achieve is to change the stereotype around cleaning. And I remember we brought this up at a meeting recently and asked our employees, do you feel any shame around what you do? Are you proud of what you do? And they looked at us like we were crazy. They were like, why would I feel that way? No, I'm really proud of what I do. And I was like, we did it. We did it.
We did it.
We changed the stigma all by ourselves. But no, it's so important.
Yeah. Fight for yourself. Fight for your cleaners. Charge your value. Charge their value.
Mm-hmm.
And don't worry about those other people who are popping up in your neighborhood. Mm-hmm. You have something great to offer. You just need to put it out there so that people see it.
Period.
And that's it. So I'm done.
Love this.
I quit.
Get off the soapbox.
I'm done. I don't need to say any more. You guys you've graduated. You don't need any more podcast episodes from us. We're just no.
Imagine what if we were like, And now time for an announcement. This will be our final episode of Hustled Up Podcast. Can you imagine?
Would people be sad? No. Would you be
This will
sad?
be our
Leave a
final-
comment. Leave a comment on our Instagram on this episode announcement if you would be sad. Just put like
the
a crying
face.
emoji.
Yeah,
People
right?
will get really confused. People
Oh
will
my
get
gosh.
really confused.
Yes, put the crying emoji. Or you should be something really random, like put the shrimp emoji. Put the shrimp
I love
emoji if you're
shrimp
sad.
the shrimp tempura emoji.
Yeah.
It's my favorite. I use
Yeah,
that
put
emoji
a
so
shrimp.
much.
In the episode announcement on Instagram if you'd be sad.
Which you can find at Hustled Up Podcast. That was such a good transition.
Smooth and crispy.
Harriet.
And if you want, now that we know that this is something people can do, send us an email like sweet little Alexis did. Like, she gave us such gold. We have so many good episode topics on the docket because of her. So please, if you're listening, just send us a little email. If you have certain episode topics you want us to cover, slide into the DMs. You can email us at hustleduppodcast@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. She made our whole week, really.
Thank
Like,
you so much, Alexis.
yeah.
Thank you. Again, gassing me up.
Mhm.
And
You're gonna
thank
float
you
away.
to, I also want to give a shout out to Faith in our
Yes.
CBF group. She's also gassing us up hella hard. She directed a lot of fellow CBFers to our group. So if you are in CBF, welcome to like our little corner of the internet. We love that you're here. And if you ever see us at a CBF event, please do come say hi to us. We just love meeting everybody in our community. So, and in our industry. So, yeah. Anyway, just a quick shout out to Faith for always gassing us up as well. Like,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, inflated. I'm floating. I'm
I know,
going.
she's so sweet. She
I'm
gave
in
us
the
a shout out,
sunset.
and Holly told me, she was like, "Did you see Faith's shout out?" I almost fell out of my chair. It was so sweet.
She
Fell out
did.
of my
So
chair.
thank you so much. Thank you. And yeah, so you guys can connect with us over at Hustled Up Podcast on Instagram. If you want to see what our business is up to, or if you just need some ideas, you can always find us at Chores and More on Instagram and on TikTok as well. And all
Absolutely.
my stuff is down below. I'm rebranding. Things are happening. It's very weird. It's very strange. But my name is not available on Instagram, so that's the only thing I'm stressing about. But I secured Holly Ann Silva on every other account. So
Yes, girl, you go.
go find me, and all my links are below. And I'm really enjoying my rebrand, so you can kind of check me out on there. And Laura.
Yeah, and Holly's helping me with my rebrand, so stay tuned for more content coming soon. But you can follow me at Laura Ann Natoli on everything.
And we'll do an episode on personal branding too, because I feel like I
Mhm.
really do want to do this. I
Yeah.
really do.
It doesn't get talked about enough, honestly.
Yeah, your personal brand is really important. So we'll do an episode on that as well.
Yeah, let's do it.
If you're cleaning houses, stop posting bullcrap on Facebook. No more.
Mhm.
I had to learn the hard way. I used to vague book all the time. Anyway, I'm getting in a tangent, but that was what I did. No more vague booking for me.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right. Well, this has been so fun. This was such a good episode topic. Please give us more episode topic ideas because I had so much fun, if you couldn't tell, chatting about this topic. And as always, go have a kick-ass week. Remember to charge what you're worth and that what you are doing is important and matters. We'll see you next time.